Hi everyone, it's me. I'm back, and I have not been here in a little while. I got super burnout after my last video, and I took a little bit of a break, but now I'm back, and I'm creating way faster than I probably should be. I've not stopped, drawing in the last week. It feels good. It feels really good. I'm sure that if you're in the TikTok art community or fandom space, you've probably seen or at least heard of the MLP Infection AU. If you don't know, the MLP Infection AU is a creepypasta universe based off of apocalypse settings like The Walking Dead, Fallout, so on. But the twist is that it's My Little Pony, and you get to create your own infection, and it's pretty cool. It's really cool, if you ask me. And you gotta know something. I love My Little Pony. I love infections. I love writing infections. I love the apocalypse. If you know me, you know that that's like my favorite thing on the planet. I had to get in on this. So today, we're gonna be writing our own infection AU for My Little Pony and writing 2 little short stories about it. I'm about 3 weeks late to this trend because I have to be honest, it wasn't really piquing my interest in my tired, burnt out brain until like a week ago, and then I drew all of this in the span of a day and a half. It fits perfectly with my own personality though, because when I was younger, I drew a zombie once, and my dad was disappointed because I wasn't drawing My Little Ponies since I was just a little kid, and I threw away my zombie drawing and drew a pony to make him happy. So now I'm an adult, and I get to do both at the same time, and it's the best day of my life, I think. Before we get into it though, I want to add a little bit of a disclaimer. The stuff that I'm going to be talking about and drawing is going to be a little bit gory and scary, so I wouldn't recommend this to younger audiences because my art is on the more mature side when it comes to this video. So with that all out of the way, let's get to making an infection. My infection is based off the in-universe and in-real-life sickness called kennel cough, which is a respiratory infection that affects dogs. I got an idea immediately when I realized it was a dog thing because I have not seen people use animals besides the ponies as carriers of the disease. I've reworked the sickness a little bit to make it work in a more zombie setting. It is caused by an airborne strain of the infection, which most ponies are immune to. It does not physically affect dogs, so you're not really able to tell when a canine is sick, but you can tell by their behavior. It makes them more agitated, it makes them aggressive, just bitey, generally nervous. Patient 0 was Applejack, who was bitten by Winona, who hadn't been showing any physical signs of infection until it was too late. The infection takes about 2 weeks to fully infect the body, but it is not lethal. It does not kill the pony. The short-term symptoms are similar to respiratory infections, with coughing, nosebleeds, throat pain, sneezing, but it also induces headaches, and it will cause bloody crust in the eyes, ears, and nose. And long-term effects of the infection will have this infection taking over the nervous system of the ponies, but leaving them conscious with a little bit of their memory, very, very loosely. So they know what's going on, but they are unable to control their bodily movements, kind of like the clickers in The Last of Us. They also experience rot in the neck, spinal, and nasal areas to just give them a really creepy zombie feel. I don't know, I like more zombie-ish ponies. I've seen a lot of pure body horror ponies in the infections. I haven't seen too many actual zombies, so that's what I focused on with these designs. I am no horror artist, so they're not too great, but I think I did fine for my first time really drawing this sort of thing. As you can see, my subjects are Applejack and Flim. I'll get into Flim in just a second. Just you hold on, okay? Let's get on to our first survivor. Flim and Flam didn't believe that the infection was that bad when it started being widespread that this was something that was nationally happening to ponies. They didn't think that it was that bad. They thought that maybe it was just a flu or a cold that was getting a little bit out of hand. Even if they didn't see the severity of the infection around them, they did see a way to make a quick bit of money. Manhattan had been locked down because of this sickness and had a quarantine zone right smack dab in the middle of it. And the two had plans on going there and getting in, but they know that ponies are desperate for a way out of this sickness, this illness. They've already tried a cure-all tonic before, but ponies have never been this desperate. So they rework their curative tonic and make their way down to Manhattan. The trip there isn't that bad until Flim starts coming down with something. They don't think that it's kennel cough. They just think that it's a cold. He starts getting a runny nose and a cough and sneezing, but they don't think it's all that serious. I mean, he hasn't been near anyone or anything that has this sickness. So why would he have it? They don't believe it at all that he could even have a chance of being infected. This is where my mega brain kicks in. You know how I said the infection in dogs is caused by an airborne strain of the infection that doesn't usually affect ponies? Flim is the thin, tiny, like 1% who is not immune to the airborne infection. And he caught it. He caught it. He has the sickness, and very, very slowly does it get worse. Also, isn't this great music to be talking about the subject with? I think it is. I think it's a great choice. After the sickness started to get worse, Flim and Flam started to get incredibly desperate, to the point that Flim started taking their own curative tonic that they didn't know would work at all, but because of something in it, it started making the infection worse, and it made it act faster, pushing the 2 weeks' time down to about a week. And overnight, Flim had been entirely taken over by the infection, and in a scuffle, he bites his brother, ending up infecting him. But Flam is able to get away. He's able to get away from his brother, and in hopes of being able to cure himself, keeps going towards Manhattan, looking for medical help, looking for a way out of this, just to be safe. But because the infection isn't lethal, Flim keeps following his brother. He doesn't really understand why he's leaving, why he's running from him. He knows what's going on, but he barely processes it in his brain as something really, really terrible. So because of that, he just keeps following Flam. That's the only thing he knows how to do. And he's not going to stop following him. But that's all I've got for their story. You're gonna see them again real soon. So just stay in for the ride, okay? Trust me, I'm cooking. For one reason or another, Babseed had been staying in Ponytown for the last week or so, and had plans to go home the day that the outbreak really happened. But sadly, she couldn't make it to the train on time before everything got shut down, because this was a national emergency. So she heads back to Sweet Apple Acres where she's staying, but something's different. She can't find Applejack or Apple Bloom, and Winona's not coming to greet her at the entrance. Everyone's gone, and she has no idea why or where they could have ran off to. After searching around for a little bit, no one showing up anywhere, she decides to head back into town thinking maybe they could have went out to go shopping or to go see Twilight or anything. But when she gets into town, it is drastically different than how it was earlier this morning when she meant to get on the train. The entire town is in complete chaos. Think the intro to The Last of Us, but with ponies in a colorful pony town, right? There are infected everywhere. And Babs is a smart kid. At this point, she's probably just an early teenager. She knows that she needs to start running. She needs to get out of town. And that's when she bumps into a very small filly named Dinky. Dinky is a background character, so I took her and made her my own OC. So, Dinky has been running everywhere. She's been split up from her parents. She has no idea where they are. And Babs instantly just feels like she needs to protect this kid. She has a sinking feeling in her stomach that her family is not alive, that they're not well, and that she's on her own, and that she needs to protect Dinky. Dinky knows Babs, so it's not hard for Babs to convince her to come with her. She does the whole Lee Everett thing from the Walking Dead game, where she's like, we can find your family later, but we need to go now so that we can be safe. So Dinky follows her and Babs get far out of Ponytown as quick as they can. I haven't thought about it too much, but I know Babs and Dinky are going to end up trying to get to Manhattan. For some reason or another, probably in that time, Babs has to break it to Dinky that her family is probably not with us anymore. So their short story is basically just them surviving out on their own, trying to get to Manhattan to get back to Babs' own family. Because for all she knows, they might be the only chance these two have left. It's not over though. Babs and Dinky continue their trip to Manhattan after everything they've been through. But when they start getting closer to the city, the groans of the infected start getting louder. They're not seeing many survivors anywhere. They're completely out on their own. And one night, they come across an old camp, and they think, let's just scavenge around, see if they have any food in here. But when they get close enough to it, they hear a bellowing noise. Emerging from the shadows is an infected Flim and Flam, who look as if they've gotten stuck together somehow, and are now just one mass of infection. That's about it for all I have for my Infection AU. It's not too amazing, but I think it's pretty good for something I cooked up at work over the span of like 3 hours. I might make a follow-up depending on how this video does. I'm not 100% sure. I can't promise anything, but I could add more stories or work on these guys more. I don't know yet. I don't know. But I do hope that you guys liked this video. I'm sorry I was gone for so long, and I entirely plan on releasing more content for all of you. Just not as often, maybe about once a month, just to keep myself in the flow, you know? So I hope you all enjoyed that video, and have a good night.